Are you already looking at the video duration? Did you check the chapters I added yet? Feeling caught and tempted to read the comments? Scroll back up and listen to me. I'm Orkan and I hold a master's degree in business engineering. For years, I struggled with a terrible attention span until I recognized a pattern back in the day when I was a student. At the beginning of every lecture, my attention span was at peak because I had just promised to myself to commit and concentrate. But as the lesson went on, my focus vanished after just a few minutes. I'd start scrolling on Instagram or whispering to the friend sitting next to me. Instead of blaming others or our phones, I want us to look at ourselves first. Accountability is key. When we struggle to keep up, we often redirect our attention to other things. It is our way of avoiding the uncomfortable thought that we aren't smart enough to keep up. Instead of getting our shit together, we distract ourselves and choose to having a good time. That's a form of covering away. You need to remind yourself in that split second to stay in the moment. Hand in hand with accountability is persistence. If you think you're not persistent, trust me, you didn't know me back then. I bet I was worse. In a medical journal, I came across what's called anterior mid-cingulate cortex. Andrew Huberman and David Goggins also mentioned this in a podcast.
Most people don't know this, but there's a brain structure called the anterior mid-cingulate cortex.
This part of the brain is responsible for persistence in the face of challenge. It plays a big role in better academic performance, career success, and even health outcomes. Here's the interesting part. Challenging exercises, exposure to cold, public speaking. Basically anything where you face adversity helps grow this area of the brain. But here's the catch. Doing things you already enjoy, like running a 10-mile jog if you love running, doesn't help. To grow this part of your brain, you need to commit to things you don't like, but do them anyway. In short, it's your willpower muscle. I've linked a very informative article from PubMed Central in the description box down below. But now, let's talk about how we can actually transform and improve our anterior mid-cingulate cortex. The first habit to transform your brain is to start with everyday decisions. Did you know the average adult makes about 35,000 conscious decisions each day? Each one carries both good and bad consequences. Imagine you're walking by a spot, you stop for a second and think, hey, I should clean that up. Then you go with the flow, ignore it and push it onto your mental to-do list. This has two major negative side effects. It lowers your persistence in the face of a problem and it adds an extra task to your mental workload. Picture this. You have one task list with about 5 reasonable but complicated tasks. Then you have another task list with the same 5 big tasks plus 100 smaller, simpler ones that could have been done just in seconds. Just looking at that second list feels overwhelming, right? That's why I now only allow tasks that require real effort onto my list. If something is simple and can be done right away, I finish it immediately. This way I keep my task list manageable and train my brain to handle challenges more effectively. The second habit to transform your brain is to minimize multitasking. Balancing multiple tasks at once might sound appealing, but think of your focus as a glass full of water. If you're trying to fill 5 glasses at once, none of them will be full because you're dividing your focus. This division reduces efficiency and making it impossible to deliver your best work. And contrary to popular belief, multitasking doesn't help you reach your goals faster. Research shows it actually slows you down. One thing that leveled up my focus was realizing how even small distractions, like notifications, eat up focus. It's like sprinting down a road at full speed. When a tourist waves at you for directions, you stop, talk to them, and then have to start running again. You've lost energy, wasted time, and now you're struggling to get back to full speed. The third habit to transform your brain is to read more physical books and watch less content. I literally hate reading, but as we've learned, doing what we hate strengthens our anterior mid-cingulate cortex, difficult word, boosting our persistence and willpower. Now, telling you to watch less content as a content creator might sound counterintuitive, and maybe not in my best interest to grow this channel, but Still, I invested hours in this video to help you increase your attention span. Reading builds patience. You can't fast forward a book like you can this video right here on 2x speed or skip ahead to the chapters you want. The depth of information you can get from a book far outweighs what you'll ever get from a video. Plus, it's hard to multitask while reading, which is another benefit. If you're looking for a great book to start with, I recommend The One Thing by Gary Keller. It's all about focusing on one task at a time. I've dropped the link below, so if you want to tackle habits 2 and 3, this is a great resource. The fourth habit to transform your brain is to listen actively. I found myself starting a podcast, and within 5 minutes, my brain tunes it out. Not because I'm not interested, but because my mind starts wondering about other stuff. It got so bad that even in everyday conversations with friends and family, I wasn't fully listening. People would ask me, "Are you even paying attention?" Of course I'd say yes, but honestly, I wasn't. Friends, that's a massive red flag. If this happens to you, it's time to re-evaluate your priorities and your task list. We often feel offended when someone criticizes our listening skills. Yet, studies show that 96% of people believe they are good listeners, while in reality, most of us retain only half of what others say. If you are aiming in your career for a management role, this is especially important. Active listening is identified as the most critical leadership skill by 64% of HR professionals. To develop active listening skills, start by cancelling out the noise around you when you are in a conversation. Remind yourself to respect everyone equally. Even if what they are saying seems like nonsense in the moment to you, respect them as a person. Listen thoroughly, process what they are saying, and then take thoughtful action based on it. The fifth habit to transform your brain is to stop making assumptions. This is a big one because so many of us think we know everything based on a single experience or something we've heard once. One of my favorite quotes is from Isaac Asimov, a Russian-American professor who said, "Your assumptions are your windows on the world. Scrub them off every once in a while or the light won't come in." Let me share a personal story. One day I was presenting to a live audience and there was a colleague in the crowd I couldn't stand. During the presentation, he seemed uninterested, looking around carelessly, reading something on his phone. I was shocked that he could even read. After the presentation, on my way to the car, I noticed him walking beside me. I give him a quick nod and intending to move on, but he stopped me and said, "Hey Orkan, I wanted to thank you for sharing knowledge. I was terrified you might ask me a question and call me out in front of everyone. That's why I was looking around and pretending to be distracted. I've been dealing with depression for months and my confidence is shot because my wife cheated on me." That hit me like a ton of bricks. I realized my assumptions about him said more about me than they did about him. We need to give people more space to express themselves. Don't judge anyone or assume you understand a situation without digging deeper. Staying objective allows you to evaluate things in a way that truly benefits you. Just because you don't like someone or disagree with their point doesn't mean you can't learn something valuable from them. Now that you focused on this video to understand how to transform your brain, what's the first habit you're planning to tackle? Share your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next one. Bye.